That's a nice little fly past. And the 7th Battalion, 51st Highland Battalion of the Royal Regiment is the Territorial Army Battalion for the north of Scotland. Its headquarters are here in Perth at Queen's Barracks, and there are detachments all round the north of Scotland. Behind the pipes and drums is the parade commander, Lieutenant Colonel Ed Fenton. He's commissioned into the Royal Highland Fusiliers in 1988, and he served in a variety of regimental posts and took up command of the Black Watch, the 3rd Battalion, on the 19th of March this year. Marching behind Colonel Fenton are members of the Royal Navy. There's a platoon from the Royal Navy. It's a combination of personnel from the frigate HMS Argyle and the aircraft carrier HMS Illustrious, both currently docked at Rosyth, and behind them, members of the Royal Marines, 4-5 Commando, based at Arbroath. They've served in Afghanistan last year and look as though they're going back next year. And behind them come number 1 Guard from 3 Scots, led by Major Alistair Steele. And behind number 1 Guard come the colour party, the 2 colours, the Queen's colour and the regimental colour, carried by Lieutenant Stanning and Lieutenant Kennedy, backed up of course by the Regimental Sergeant Major W1 Michael Duffus and W2 Frank McConnell, and Colour Sergeant Mark Blythe and Colour Sergeant Ross Beaton. Behind the colours of the Black Watch, incidentally, is number 2 Guard, led by Major Nigel Jordan Barber. Behind number 2 Guard are marchers from Royal Air Force Lucas. And behind the marchers from Army of Lucas, the band of the Royal Regiment of Scotland and the military band of the 7th Battalion, Royal Regiment of Scotland, under their Director of Music, Captain Craig Hallett. And following the band, the Association and members of the Royal British Legion Scotland. There are standard bearers there from Jedburgh down in the Bunny Borders, from Musselburgh, from Angus, and from many other associations and branches. Very proud and pleased to have those marchers with us. And behind the standards are the veterans, many of them of course wearing the red hackle of the Black Watch. The origin of wearing the red hackle is not very certain. In fact, there's evidence that it was worn by the 42nd in North America in the 17th century, but in fact tradition ascribes the award of the red hackle to a battle in 1795. And there are the men, proudly wearing the red beret of the Parachute Regiment, and a couple with the sand-coloured beret of the Special Air Service Regiment. And behind the veterans, we're delighted to have a contingent, and if you look above, ladies and gentlemen, there goes a GR4 Tornado flying down from RAF Lossiemouth to cross our path. Behind the veterans, I'm delighted to welcome our cadets. Leading the cadets are the Sea Cadet Corps, which claims the oldest lineage from the time when sailors returned home from the Crimean War, which ended in 1856. Behind the Sea Cadets come the Army Cadet Force, which is the largest voluntary youth organisation in the United Kingdom. It's a very valuable recruiting source for the regular and territorial armies and can trace its source back to 1859. Behind the Army cadets come the Air Training Corps. They started life as the Air Defence Corps in 1938 and took on the name of the ATC in 1941. And behind the cadets come the Scouts and Cubs and Brownies, and there are members here from 5 Scout groups: the 10th Perthshire, based at Perth Academy, the 14th Perthshire, based at Bridgeburn, the 22nd Perthshire, based at St Matthew's Church, which is just facing the Tay, and then come the 73rd Perthshire from West Cast, the 74th Perthshire, which is based at the Congregational Church, and Girl Guides and Brownies from the Perthshire group. Scouting, of course, a little younger than Perth. Scouting started in 1907, so it celebrated its centenary only 3 years ago. In fact, the contingent from St Matthew's celebrates its centenary this year. So they're very newly formed. They were very newly formed after the start of the Scouting movement was formed by Lieutenant General Robert Baden-Powell. So please give a warm cheer to all of our littlies as well, the Brownies and the Rainbows as well. And behind the marchers, ladies and gentlemen, come some of the vehicles which carried our troops to victory in the Second World War. They're leading the parade, a couple of Willys Jeeps, and within the passengers in the vehicles are from BLESWA, the British Limbless Ex-Servicemen's Association, which has it's based up at Crieff, just inland from Perth. So these are the sorts of vehicles. The first two are wearing the colours of the United States, but proudly worn here on parade, and behind them another couple of Willys Jeeps, and then another couple of Willys Jeeps after them. Really the workhorses of the Allied troops during the Second World War. And there comes a magnificent old Land Rover driven by Captain Gary Wallace. I beg your pardon, Major Gary Wallace, I do beg your pardon. And also an Austin champ beside him. A motorbike, and then a rather more modern Land Rover than some of the vehicles that we've seen. Some of the limbless ex-servicemen in their vehicle. And then a wee ferret armoured car. What? Oh, that's a dingo, not a ferret, I beg your pardon. Being an airborne soldier, I can't tell the difference between these ground-borne things. And then a 5-ton truck to bring up the rear of the procession, carrying the insignia of the British Limbless Ex-Servicemen's Association. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the procession marking Armed Forces Day. This is the second Armed Forces Day, but it's Armed Forces Day started life